Safe to talk is one of the steps to creating emotional safety in your relationship with a child. Before a child can feel seen and loved, before they can do skill building and learn life skills, a child needs to feel safe to talk to you. Open and honest dialogue with the children in our life starts with the ability to listen. Let's look at our own childhood. Didn't you want more than anything to speak your mind, to tell the truth, and be understood? Well, okay, most likely not when we did something we knew or thought might displease our parents or other adults in our lives. But isn't that a direct result of the fear that they wouldn't understand? Or that of getting in trouble? Whether real or perceived, kids grapple with those worries. What if, as the adults in the lives of our children and teens, we listen from a place of acceptance, non-judgmentalness, with a heart at peace, not at war? What does this look like? Well, it can look like validating, accepting, and seeking for understanding. Let's take a look at a scenario. Let's say it's the end of the day, you're in your room, you're winding down for the evening, and your kid comes in and wants to talk to you. Hey, Mom, do you have a minute? Sure, what's up, you say. Well, there's this party on Friday that I really want to go to. It's at Jack's sister's apartment. Isn't she like 23? Well, yeah, but she's really awesome and all of her friends are cool. Nothing bad's gonna happen. You think. I don't think so. I don't feel good about it. Oh my gosh, Mom, you never let me do anything. Just because Jack brought alcohol to the last party doesn't mean it's going to happen again. You never trust me. Look, no child of mine is going to talk to me like that. You're not going. And if you keep badgering me about it, you're not going anywhere with anybody this weekend. Mom, you are so unfair. Quit telling me how to live my life. Your kid slams the door, goes off sulking to their room, turns the music up loud, and most likely is going to give you the silent treatment. So what do you do if this happens? Well, here's what we recommend. Give yourself a moment to decompress, take a deep breath, and when you're calmer, go to the door, knock, and say through the door, hey, I kind of blew it. Can we have a do-over? Your kid may grunt and then continue through the door. I'd like to understand why this is important to you. I'm sorry for not listening. Are you willing to try me again? Hopefully your kid says yes and invites you into their room. When they do so, sit down, get comfortable, and reflect what their earlier concern was or their question. You can say something like, now you said there's a party on Friday that you really want to go to. Could you tell me more? At this point, zip your lip, put tape over your mouth, whatever you need to do to turn up the listening. And then ask some clarifying questions. Ask your kid's opinion about how they feel about this party on Friday and why. But mostly nod, say some mm-hms, maybe okay or I see. Really will engage your child and encourage them to continue talking. Well, what if your kid says no? What if they don't want to invite you into their room? Well, stay outside the door. By all means, don't enter. And say something along the lines of, okay, I understand. I can respect your need for space right now. I am willing to listen, even though I didn't 10 minutes ago. If you feel better about it later, I promise to listen and not interrupt. Well, this sounds good, doesn't it? We would all like to have some scenarios like this. Well, how do we take these tools and put them into practice? So we've prepared a few things for you, some tools and takeaways, things to say that we're hoping will help you. Are you familiar with the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears? If you remember, Goldilocks was lost and came across the Three Bears' house. When she entered, she found some bowls of porridge on the table and she was quite hungry. So she checked the temperature of each one. One was too hot, the other too cold, and the third was just right, so she ate it right up. We can use this idea to check our own temperature and the temperature of our child. Am I or my child coming in too hot or too cold? What would just right look like for me and my child? So we want to create a place where it's safe to talk and interact, that kids can eat up, or in other words, are willing to engage. So let's start by checking your temperature. What are your clues if you're coming in too hot? Are you stressed or pressured, worried, or fearful? Let's check a few urges that parents might experience. One would be the urge to lecture. Something like, I told you before, ... whatever that is. Let's say it's an urge to ask questions about how they handled a situation. You might say something like, well, what did you say back to them? Or, why were you even there? Maybe another urge you're coming in hot would be to blame or accuse your child. For example, well, it's true you shouldn't have done that, but. Or how about, no wonder your friend said that to you. What were you thinking? Another urge might be to fix the situation for your child. For example, have you tried doing ... fill in the blank, whatever it is you're thinking of. And here's the classic, right? Here's what you should do, is what we say often. These all could be urges that you felt or experienced at some point as a parent. There might be others. Pay attention to how you feel and what your urges might be. So what are some solutions for when you're coming in too hot as a parent? Well, one solution might be zipping your lips, putting tape over your mouth, taking that deep breath, setting aside frustration and judgment. Find a way to contain it, whether it's just holding on to it to express later or just noticing it and moving beyond it. You can also turn towards your kid. Do that physically with your eyes, your ears, your full attention, body forward, paying attention to them. Get at or below their level, sitting with them or just below them. Active listening is another great solution. Opening your heart and mind with curiosity to their experience. You might use phrases like, tell me more, or what did you think about that? You could do a simple might encourage them to continue, or what happened next? Or I see. Another great solution would be to ask permission, asking your child if you can share something with them. Thought would be, is this something you want help with? Or, I had a similar situation. Would you like to hear about it? Maybe you might say, that reminds me of a similar situation. Would now be a time to share it with you, or would another time be better? Another solution is to respect their no. Saying things to them like, I'm here for you when you're ready to talk, can really respect their no. Also, how can I best help or support you right now? They may still say, I don't know, and respect it. Say, okay, come to me when you would really like to talk to me about it. 1, avoidance. Please avoid the urge to give your opinion, to have your say. You'll have a chance to do that later. Right now is their time to talk. Your job is to hear them out, to learn about their point of view, and to ask for clarification. You can also recognize when you're feeling overwhelmed. If you're too hot to do this kind of listening, you may need to tell your child that you need a 5-minute reset. Now, on the other hand, what are your clues if you're coming in cold? What might that look like? Well, it could look like you're disinterested or distracted, but also apathetic or critical or dismissive of your child. Now, these are things they might observe. But what are some of your clues that you might be doing this? Well, it could be the urge to tell your own stories rather than listening to them. Again, right? Things like, when I was your age, this is how I experienced this, might be a clue for you. Also, the urge to rescue them from emotion. You might say something like, certainly that's nothing to be upset about, or cry about, or be angry about. You might have the urge to judge. You may think or say, well, that should have been easily avoided, or you should have known better. Maybe you were distracted and you noticed your attention is elsewhere. Notice where you're looking. What direction are you facing? You may be distracted by other things in the environment or what you're doing, such as screens, emails, or texts. You might even be distracted by your own thoughts and the task of the moment. What you want to say, rather than what they're actually saying, could be a distraction as well. Now, here's some solutions for parents when they're coming in too cold. You can set things down, turn your attention to them, and that sends the message that you are more important to me. You can start by turning towards your child, as we said previously, by eyes, ears, body, attention full on to them. You may be willing to apologize, saying something like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you have my full attention now," or "I could have handled that so much better. Will you give me another try?" You can prompt them to continue by phrases such as, "Tell me more," "You're kidding, that's crazy," or "What happened after that?" or "What did you think about that?" You can reflect the emotion that you're observing in your child. Sounds like you're having fun. Or maybe it was a hard situation and you say, "Wow, that was really hard for you, wasn't it?" Now, if you're constrained for time or in the middle of something, you can use a skill called a 30-second burst of attention, in which you let the person you're with know that you need 30 seconds to turn fully to your child to address what they need. Now, when you do this, again, eyes, ears, body, full on with your child, and then you can say to them something along the lines of, "Well, I can see this is really important to you right now, and I need 5 minutes to wrap up. I'll be right with you." Well, how about your child's temperature? How do we manage that one? What are some clues that your kid's coming in hot? You may notice that they look or appeared worried, nervous. Maybe they're crying or angry or irritable. They may be demanding your attention or your time. They may look and appear anxious, tense, or argumentative. If your child is coming in hot, here are a few solutions that you can use. Apply these solutions to yourself first. That's the key. Then you can reflect the emotion you're observing in your child. You can use phrases like, "Wow, you seem excited. Tell me all about it." Or, "You seem anxious about what you want to share." You can acknowledge your child's anxiety about your reaction, saying a phrase like, "I'm wondering if you're worried that I might get upset." Or, "Let's agree beforehand that whatever you want to tell me, I'm not going to punish you for telling me the truth." Respect their need for space. If a kid comes in angry, sometimes they're not ready to talk. So you might notice that and say, "I can see you need a minute. You seem so upset right now." Or, "I'm here for you when you are ready to talk." Encourage them to take a moment. "Let's take a deep breath, then tell me all about it." Or, "Do you want to go get a drink? Or go for a walk outside? We can walk around together till you're feeling ready to talk." Now, one big avoidance again. Please avoid the urge to say, "You need to calm down, you need to take a breath." I know I don't like that when somebody says it to me. I'm sure our kids don't like it either. Take this moment to not blame your child for having an emotion, but allow them to feel what they're feeling. On the other hand, what are your clues if they're coming in cold? It might look like they're being dismissive. They might say things like, "Forget about it. It's nothing. It's not important." They may throw up walls, say things like, "I don't want to talk about it. I'm perfectly fine." Maybe they're appearing a little apathetic. Shrugs, silence, terms like, "I don't know, doesn't matter." Now, what are some of the solutions for parents responding to a child when they're coming in cold? Well, they're the same solutions. We want you to check your own temperature, watch your tone of voice and your body language. Keep things neutral, turn up observation and turn down judgment. Observe and reflect the child's behavior. Doing this by saying, "I see that you're pretending you can't hear me," might be a great response. Identify their need for space. "I can see that you don't want to talk to me about this right now. I can respect that." Let them know that you support them on all accounts. Let them know that if they change their mind, that you're here and ready to listen. Remember that their behavior isn't about you. It's often about their needs, and behavior has purpose. Now, each parent and child situation is very unique. Each personality will respond differently. Applying the basic skills consistently and over time will help you create the environment that will increase safety to talk. Whatever your situation, it's never too late to make it safe to talk. Thank you for being a caring adult in the life of a child and spending this time with me. I invite you to choose one thing that stuck out to you and try it today.